Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are going to start our page number 36 that is related to intricate embroidery. You have seen when your mama wears suits or saris, different type of embroidery is there. Beautiful dresses are always done by and decorated by various type of embroidery, because if we use the fabric in such a plain manner, it don't look as beautiful, but if we decorate it, it becomes so beautiful and we can make so many beautiful dresses. This is so, in the other words, we can say the embroidery is the art of decorating the fabric with the stitches to enrich or add to its beauty. With the time, embroiderers have experimented with the material available to them and adopting and refining their techniques. Some of the most popular embroidery patterns description are given below. Let's see what are the various type of different types of embroidery which can make the cloth beautiful. So first one, it is the Lucknow. UP is the home of this delicate, dignified style of embroidery. It associated with Lucknow. It is a kind of white thread embroidery done mostly on cotton fabric. I hope you also experience this kind of fabric and embroidery work that is completely on the cotton fabric, and it is done with the white thread always. And this is the picture is also showing on the screen and named as chicken curry. The second type of embroidery that is given over here, you can see a work is there that in the picture, extremely delicate embroidery style of cashmere, which is usually done with single strand of thread, has mainly floral patterns. Florals means flower type designs are there. Generally, motifs used are of paisley and almond shape. Chinar and maple leaf flowers and leaves are shown in this kind of embroidery. This is known as Kashida. This is known as Kashida. Let's move ahead to the third type of embroidery pattern that is given over here in this. This pattern of embroidery originates from the Andhra Pradesh. From where it is associated? It's associated with Andhra Pradesh, has the three-dimensional effect and involves the needle weaving stitches. Surface embroidery stitches are used extensively. Usage of beads and thick threads give the 3D effect to this kind of embroidery. You know, nowadays the trend of 3Ds are there. So that is a 3D effect of the thread in this type of embroidery, and this pattern of embroidery is known as Kamal Kadai. The fourth one, the form of embroidery of Karnataka is basically a darning stitch. Long and short straight lines are used to produce this woven effect. You can see in the picture it is known as Negi. Fifth one is this is that stitches of cut out fabric designs of the background fabric to create the decorative effect. You can see in the dresses of the tiny tots or kids, you always see this kind of design, and this kind of design which is in the form of stitches and with the background fabric, it is created in a decorated way. It is known as applique. This style, the sixth one, the most popular in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, it is very much popular, and running stitch with the short gaps is used in this embroidery pattern and gives a wrinkled and wavy effect to the fabric. Which kind of effect it gives to the fabric? The wrinkled and the wavy effect. So this style is associated with Bangladesh and named as Kantha. Kantha work, I hope you listen. It is a very much common work you find in every area. Seventh one, originating from Punjab. Yes, when the name of Punjab is there, how can we forget Fulkari? So it's originating in Punjab. This art is associated with Jat tribe, the cultivators and nomads. It is simple, rich and colorful. Threads used here have been and very bright, resembling beautiful flowers garden. Whatever the work done in this type of pattern, it just look like that it's just the garden is just full of beautiful flowers. The colors blooms like this in this kind of pattern. So this is known as fulkari. The next one is it is the imperial metal embroidery work. Usually, when you see the wedding dresses, the dresses of the bridegroom and bride, you always see this kind of work. It is the imperial metal embroidery work which use intricate pattern in gold and silver, studded with the pearls and precious or semi-precious stone, enhancing the beauty of the fabric. It is done with a crochet hook using the metallic threads and appear like a chain stitch. It is known as zardori. Zardori is a kind of royal pattern of embroidery, which is used in the party wear dresses. Next is ninth one. The embroidery style is the art of using the combination of materials to create an intricate design. In this, a portion of the background cloth is cut out and discarded. Running and buttonhole stitches are also there. Two common stitches that are used for creating this design. You can see in the picture, cuts are there and two type of different thread work is there. This is known as the cut work. What is it known? It is known as the cut work. Let's recall what we have studied in these two pages. In page number 36 and 37, we just come to know about different pattern of the embroidery, in which the first pattern that we discuss associated with Lucknow is chikankari. Then we study about the kashida, which is the floral pattern, the pattern that is related to with beads and thick threads and have the 3D effect. It is the Kamal Kadai, and the embroidery that is associated with Karnataka and darning stitches are there, that is Negi, and the cut out fabric design with the decorative effect, it's applique, and this type of stitch is associated with Bangladesh, and running stitch with the short gaps is known as Kantha work. Originated in Punjab, it is fulkari, which is resembles to a beautiful garden full of flowers, and it is the royal stitch which is usually used on the party wear clothes. And the next one, last one, is the embroidery style in which the buttonhole running stitches are used to create the design, and it is known as cut work. So it is all about the different type of thread work that are to be used to beautify the fabric. Let's go for the next page. In the next page, it is given wonders of India. I'm not talking about wonders of world. I'm talking about wonders of our country, because India is also have a lot of wonders in itself. What are these? Our heritage of historical monument is indeed valuable. It speaks volume about our ancestral culture, focusing on the love and glory. You can certainly be proud to be a journal knowledge if you correctly name all the monuments which are described over here. Let's see, the pictures of those monuments are given to you, and some clues are given to you. By reading these clues and this information, we have to identify that about which monument it is given over there, and it is the wonder of India. Let's see what are the wonders of India. The first one, the picture is also a tomb is there and 4 minarets are there. Let's see what is this? What is the information given about it? It is known as the Whispering Gallery because of the gentlest whisper echoes across its greatest length. You know, whenever somebody whispers, means when you speak so slowly in the building, in this building, your voice create an echo, and it is that's why it is known as Whispering Gallery. The marvelous acoustical system was constructed by the Sultan Adil Shah of Bijapur. So it is named as Gol Gumbaj. What is the name? The name of the monument is Gol Gumbaj. I'm writing over here. All you people, please note it down in your books as well. It's Gol Gumbaj. You can see the first picture as well as the information is given over here. Let's move to the second one. In the second, it is also has minaret, but it don't have tomb. It is the four majestic monument of the four towers built in 1591 by Muhammad Qali of the Qutub Shahi dynasty is floodlit in the evenings. This magnificent square archway is supported by 456-meter high towers building to commemorate the end of the local plague. And the name of this is a very famous name. It is the Char Minar. What is it? It is Char Minar. Please note it down in your notebooks as well. Yes, let's go for the next, the third one. Delhi is the first Muslim monument included in the Tar commemorating the victory over the Delhi Hindu rulers in 1192. It is engraved with verses from the Quran, standing 240 feet high, and is excited the envy of the later ruler and started an even larger tower but died when it reached at a height of only 89 feet. The third building, you can see the tallest building ever, it is Qutub Minar. The name of the building is Qutub Minar. Yes, let's go for the next. Let's see in the point 4 what is given over here. In the fourth one, it is given the monastic university. The monastic university that is flourished from 5th century until 1199 when it was ransacked by Afghan invader and Bhaktidar Khilji, also known as the place of the conference, the Lotus. It lies south of Patna. Lord Mahavira is the last Jain Tirathkar and the Lord Buddha rendered their preaching at this place. Later, it developed as the center of the Buddhist learning. Later, it developed as the center of Buddhist learning. It is known as Nalanda, the Nalanda University. The next one is the fifth. It is known as a white pagoda. It built in 12th century. The main building is 65-meter high, surmounted by the mystic wheel and flag of Vishnu. Non-Hindu are not permitted to enter this temple, you know. Non-Hindu are not permitted to enter in this temple. This temple is known as Jagannath Temple. It is known as Jagannath Temple. Let's move forward to the next. The next is Chandela dynasty built 85 temples, of which only 22 exist now. These temples are designed These temples are designed to lead one's eyes from the ground level to the upward to the ultimate heaven, Kailash. They are ornately curved and depicts the genius of the craftsman. Genius of the craftsman means whatever the crafting is done there, that is very much genius, and the king who inspired them. So what is it? You can see the picture. The seventh picture is given over there. It is the cave temples of Elephanta. It is the cave temples of Elephanta. The next is site of magnificent series of the rock cave temples with the large sculpted interiors. These were excavated in 7th and 8th century. The centerpiece is a massive 5-meter three-headed bust of Shiva, representing the manifestation as the creator, the preserver, and destroyer. I hope everybody knows that the Shiva is represent the manifestation as the creator, preserver, and destroyer. You know that the three-headed bus Shiva, the three-headed bus Shiva is known for this manifestation. He is the creator of this nature. He is the preserver and destroyer as well. So it just these three faces, three-headed of Shiva just shows that. And it is the temple of Khajuraho. It is the temple of Khajuraho. Please note it down in your books as well. So let's see what we have studied today. We have learned the various wonders of India. Let's see what are these. Again, have a look. The first one, that is our Whispering Gallery, that is Gol Gumbaj. And the next one, which has the 4 majestic minarets or towers, you can say, it is our Charminar, the one of the longest building. It is Qutub Minar, the university where the Buddha as well as Jan Tirathkar also given its preachings, that is the Nalanda University. And the next one is the temple where the non-Hindus are not permitted to enter. It is Jagannath Temple. This one, the sixth is, it is the 200 crore edifice of the pink sandstone. Anybody who visited to Delhi might visit this place also, because it is one of the famous place as well as the beautiful place in Delhi. You must visit, and it is across in 100 acres of the bank of Yamuna, stand majestically with the 234 ornately caved pillar and 9 artistic domes are there, taking away the collective breath of a million amazed devotees. It is Akshardham. It is Akshardham. The seventh one, it is related to the Chandelas dynasty. 85 temple of this type has been built by them, but only 22 are exist now. So, and the craftsmen did the very genius work in these temples. And these are the cave temples of Elephanta. And the last one, the temple which is showing the three-headed Shiva, that temple is named Temples of Khajuraho. So we learn about the wonders of India today, as well as the different type of thread work which beautify the fabric, which help us to make our clothes and dresses in such a beautiful manner. It just feel us so pleasing, because when there is a simple cloth it seems to be very boring, but when the thread work is there it seems to be very beautiful. So it is all about for the day. If anybody have any query, feel free to ask. Please raise your hand, I'll unmute you and you can take your query.